Lady Petal here, and as you can tell, I'm feeling much better than last week. Oh, it's good what the difference that a week makes in the way that we feel. And I used a great homeopathic remedy to help me get rid of that cough and that sickness, because unfortunately for me, when I get sick, I have this persistent cough that comes in, and if I cough during this, it would be just the last vestiges of that. But I get this persistent cough, and it's just an irritated dry cough, and it can last for months and months and months, and it'll be so hard that it'll like crack your teeth and give you headaches, and oh my goodness, such a debilitating thing. So I like to nip it in the bud before it takes hold of me. So what's been happening for me? I went away to Vicky McBride's for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, really hot. Beautiful scenery. Love what she's done to the house. Really hot. Her and I just sat there and melted for 3 days. And she's still suffering through it now. But best company, did not detract from the company at all. Got some beautiful things done. So those of you that follow me on Crazy Island Family or my Facebook page, you would have seen a few of these. So I got my week 3 Lifebook page done finally. I'd had a few goes of it and didn't like them. I like this one, so that one's going in. And I love the style. I love the style because I'm a watercolorist, so I really like that. I used to do illumination and calligraphy, so I have a nice pen. I have nice penmanship, but I liked expanding that out and doing a composition book that showed you, that where you developed your own styles of handwriting and created all these different alphabets. So that was pretty cool. And I did the lovely peacocks, so you can see they're on beautiful cartridge paper. After doing this these ones are water-based markers. So the turtle, if those of you who saw the turtle was alcohol markers underneath with pencil on the top and ink. And this one I thought I'm going to give water-based markers a go. So these are Sakura Koi watercolor markers underneath, and then Prismacolor pencils on the top, and then some ink pen and stuff like that. So that's what I was doing there, and I really like that. They came out really beautiful and vibrant, and yes. So my big exciting thing for the week though has been I got Jane Davenport's book, and I'm sure most of you are having a look at vlogs at the moment from people that have this book, because it's #1 in mixed media on Amazon at the moment in the States. However, I got mine directly from Jane with a nice little handwritten note from Angus, her husband, in it, because of course she was doing a retreat with a couple, well, at least one of my design team members, Denise D. Rooney. She is a design team member for me with Crafty Crusaders, and she went on retreat with Jane, and there was 3 of them there, and I'm like, oh yeah. I immediately saw all that and saw the beautiful work they were creating and just getting into that zone and that space, and said to my husband, my wish for this year is that I would have a couple of days on retreat with Jane. That's what I want. All my presents this year, that's what I want. So I said that to him, and he's filed that away, because unlike trying to buy me art supplies, I'm getting to the art supply part in a minute. Other than trying to buy me art supplies where he actually needs to get a list off my friend Vicky, who has such a fabulous brain for remembering when I mention stuff that I would like to get. She keeps a personal wish list for me. Who has friends like this, right? And goes shopping for me, and then buys me things off my wish list for my birthday and Christmas and stuff like that, and is available as a resource to my family to do the same thing, which is pretty awesome when I'm not doing it myself, that is. So yes, so Art Supply Junkie, this book, yes, I know, this book. Then said Cartridge Paper Journal, and second said Winsor & Newton Cartridge Paper Journal. This one I think is where I'm doing the faces. So I did a face for Tam's Course Fabulous Faces, all in graphite, so you can see her there. Then I started doing mini faces for Jane's Fabulous Faces book. So just doing a whole heap of little pencil sketches, and she won't let you work in graphite. And that's good, because I tell you what, graphite gets over everything. Practicing different faces facing at different angles, and started doing lips and noses and things like that. And then First Girl, I love her. She looks really sweet and innocent and sort of a little bit mystical. Yep, so really liking her. Then today I had fun doing this one, who I thought, yes, let's make her a fairy with flowers in her hair and these gorgeous little kind of wings coming out from her. Except that then I was deliberately looking at doing wide set eyes with a broader nose, because fairies often have that. And I reckon she looks like one of the Na'vi. One of the Na'vi. Without the dreadlocks, but one of the Na'vi off Avatar. I know, right? So then I did another face that has a plait, where I'm again playing with different placements of facial features. So I'm mucking around with those, and this one I particularly like, which I will colour in and do something with. So she's again from, you know, exercises from Jane's book. She's just a picture, so I just kind of took a little bit of license, and I like, because I liked the angle, and I just added in a breast, and she's ready to be coloured, and I am loving this. And these sketches I just kind of did this afternoon, and I kid you not, I would say probably each of those took me about 7 to 10 minutes. Not very long, because once you get into the rhythm of it, and that's the thing that I want to say. Oh, before I get into the art tips, the Art Supply Junkie. So today from Amazon I got a pencil case for my Spectrum Noir pencils. So those of you that saw a picture of that, I'm just going to open one, but I've got 120 pencils in this case, and look how they're stored. How amazing does that look? You get to see all your pencils. I've organised them in chronological order, because honestly I don't know how you would go trying to figure them out in the groupings that the Spectrum Noir come in the tins. I have another leather one coming as well for my Prismacolors, because they are my favourites. I did those two sketches, the last two sketches today, in the Spectrum Noir pencils. I find them different to work with, and they're not nearly as creamy as the Primas, but they still blend exceptionally well and work very, very well. So I, you know, for the price that I paid for the entire set, 120 of these, it was like a fraction of the price that I would pay for Prismas. So I have a big tin of Prismas, but I'm gradually increasing that. You know, it's one of those things where I can just add a couple of pencils to each order, and then I gradually increase my collection from there when I'm ordering from like Lulu online, Lulu Art and things like that. Oh, FYI, those of you in Australia, luluart.com.au is having Dina Wakely come in November this year. Lisa has just been at CHA, yay, and got Dina to film a little promo for her, because she's coming over for 3 days in November. And I'm looking into possibly being there as well, because Lisa's gorgeous, and Noosa is not that far away. And I also think there will be just single day sessions, and so you don't have to do the whole 3 days, which will be really, really good. So those are my art supply junkie things, as well as, I'm sure you can just see this here. This is my new watercolor table. So IKEA, love IKEA. This is an IKEA cabinet. You can see that there. It's one of those ones with pull-out drawers. You can see that too, right? And I need tubs like that, like really deep tubs for all my recycling and Happy Mail. And I swear the entire thing is filled up with recycling and Happy Mail. But there were no desks really, normal desks that were tall enough to go over this, because this is like almost a metre tall, and most desks are not a metre tall because, you know, you have to stand at them. But IKEA has a pair of, one set of legs that will go to 107, and that's what they are. They're extended out. And this is my new watercolour table. Finally got it back after, when I bought this cabinet, the table I had didn't fit. And I've been unable, so now I have my watercolour boards and everything set up there, and palettes, and I'm waiting for my DT box from Crafty Crusaders from Cairns in Australia, and I will unpack it on that table because it has a lot of water-based media in it, and I'm going to start stocking up my water-based media over at that water-based media station, which is, you can see I'm just leaning there with my arm on it, so it is literally, you know, right behind me. And the only way that I could introduce a second work surface in my tiny, tiny studio. Anyway, the DT box. The DT box. Oh. Okay, so the design team box. We got photos of the pallets and pallets of product that Cairns in Australia called in from their warehouses to pack our DT boxes. How exciting is that? And it should be arriving any day. Actually, I expected it to arrive today, but it didn't. So it should arrive today. But I'm going to film it too. I'm going to film going through what I got in this DT box, because I have to do a big thank you to Cairns in Australia when they do that, because, I mean, that's gifted to us as artists to explore their products and really promote their products in Australian stores. So that's very exciting. So yes, I am extremely excited about that. What else have I gotten? I think I've actually finished the Confessions of an Art Journal Junkie this week. Yeah. Probably. Yay. Before I keep going too long and I will make you sick. The thing I want to say to you though, like I was saying earlier, that the faces that I was doing in Prismacolor, right, so, or in colour pencil, because Jane doesn't like you to draw in graphite, because you can then rub it out, and it encourages the perfectionist in all of us. And a lot of her whimsical girls are not perfect, and they look the way they look because they're not perfect. And her style is very much to encourage that scribbly freedom of expression in finding your own style. So at the moment I'm just following the style and learning it and doing that little Na'vi elf. You know, that's me. That's her teaching me to be me. So that's really good. But to be able to sit down and do a sketch like that in roughly 5 to 7 minutes, and I was actually Skyping with Vicky at the time, so it's one of those things that I just sit down while I'm watching TV at night or doing something else, and I sit and sketch, because because you have to work at it, you have to practice at it. And the only way that if you want to draw faces, then go out and do courses and get books and draw faces and practice and practice and practice. There's a lot of people say to me, you know, I feel like I'm not a drawer and I can never draw, but I really like to, or I'm just intimidated by your work, or I see it on life book and documented life, and you know, a lot of art communities, and that people are really intimidated by some people that are further along their creative art journey than the people that are just getting on board. And I really relate to that, because the fear and the crippling nature of comparison does not do anyone any favors. If I was to show you work, in fact I will show you some pages that I was doing this time last year. I just want you to have a look at the sort of growth that you can get in 12 months of dedicated work and practice. So this time last year, I actually said, my dad changed my life. For Christmas in 2013, he gave me a set of styluses, and these were artists' styluses to be used with art programs on my iPad. And I found a digital course that I wanted to do on my iPad, and it was just happened to be by Tracy Bautista. And I was very excited about that, no doubt, and did that, and then had a look at everything else she was doing, and started understanding that if I wanted to be a better artist, then I would actually have to practice, and not just do backgrounds, and not just do collage, and I would actually have to sit there and practice. So to give you an idea, this is the sort of stuff I was doing 12 months ago, right? Just playing around with techniques, copying pages off YouTube channels to get inspiration and learn technique. Started drawing rough Tracy Bautista faces, you know, on journal pages. Just learning to do, this was all me, just learning to do different things and use your own stamps and create your own marks. Doing stuff in ink. Okay, so Tracy Bautista are obviously very influenced by that. Again, Tracy Bautista. Just free drawing in India ink, not even using pencil there, just India ink and a brush. And that's kind of where I was at this time last year. I mean, I was doing other things. I was doing scrapbooky things, right? Just mixed media, different bits and pieces. That was earlier. But I just want to say that I have since done some pretty awesome work, and the only way that I can do that is that I practice a lot. And I'm at a stage now where as my profile is rising and I'm being given awesome opportunities, that I have to practice now. I have to become better. I have to be able to teach others what I know, and that takes a lot of work. You have to work at your craft. If you're a musician, you have to practice. If you want to draw, you have to practice. If you want to paint, you should be able to draw, because when you paint, drawing will make you a better painter. Every single recognised artist that I know, that are friends of mine, that are regularly exhibited and live off their work, they all cite drawing as the most important thing, even more so than watercolour technique or oils or acrylics or anything else. It's the drawing. So one of the things that I'm focusing on this year is some life drawing, and I found a couple of fabulous YouTube channels that allow me to do that in the comfort of my own home, because I'm time poor and often I cannot get to life drawing classes like I had planned or would love to do. And sometimes I think too, the naked body can be quite confronting for people. But the only way I will draw the human form better is if I study the human form. And the only way that I will draw better faces that have character and expression and have meaning and, you know, people fall in love with, because they may not be the prettiest faces on the planet, and even if they are, they should inspire emotion. And I've done enough faces to know that there are some faces that I've drawn and painted that people just go, oh yeah, that's just a pretty face. And then there are others where people go, oh, have a look at the beautiful expression in her eyes. What's she thinking? Or she looks so sad. Or she looks like she's lost in thought. Or she looks really happy. Or she looks cranky or mad. Or she invites you in. Those are all human emotions where I'm making people feel something, whether they love it or hate it, or that I'm making people feel something. And I think that's really important if you want to not just please yourself with your art. A lot of people that are indulging in mixed media at the moment, they do it instead of scrapbooking, and it is their hobby, and it is something that they want to do for them. It's like, and I say it's my soul food. It's like how I process a lot of emotions. And you know, I had an experience this week where it was a very difficult confrontation that I felt really trashed at the end of it, and I was able to sit down and draw, and that made it okay. I needed to talk it through with my girlfriends as well, but I processed it enough through my drawing that I was able to go to sleep confident in that everything was going to be okay, you know. And that's really important for all of us, whether we're new to mixed media, whether we're just discovering the freedom of paint and no rules except colour and composition. But no rules, essentially. You do what you do until you find something that works for you. And I am loving being a part of this whole mixed media movement, and what it means for all of us as art journal people, you know, art journal junkies and artists and serious fine art, you know. I think art journaling is essential for fine art, because you need to practice and practice and practice your craft before you can do something fine art, you know, something that you will sell, something that you will then teach. You need to practice, 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 and develop your style. And that's part of what I'm doing here. And part of what I'm doing I will sit down and I will learn techniques from those that are, you know, the best in the world right now. I will learn those techniques, and then I will create something that is uniquely me. But to be able to have great skill, to then have the freedom to create something that is uniquely me, I need to learn, and never stop learning. And that is my whole thing, you know, like it's one of those things that is just, if every time when somebody laments something, I say, the only difference between you and me is practice. That's it. That's the only difference between me and Jane Davenport is practice. That's the only difference between me and Tamara from Lifebook. That's practice. Years and years and years and years of practice. And do you think that those teachers don't go and get training from other fabulous professionals in the art industry? Of course they do. They do it all the time. They're great friends with those people. But they recognise that learning constantly is really important. So getting yourself into a good course that challenges you every week is great. And Journaling Crazy Island Style is one of those courses. We have sat down even as recently as this week and really thoughtfully put together some fabulous ideas to make sure that by the end of the year that you are a much better artist than what you were at the beginning of the year. We're not just doing this for fun. We actually understand that if you pay money to us to teach you lessons every week, we have to have some fun. We have to make your heart sing. We have to challenge you, and we have to inspire you to grow and become better. And that's what that's all about, and that's what every artist always is looking for and doing. Because in that journey that we have where we're learning and doing and creating and you know, discovering new things for us, that is where all our creative mojo comes from. And so I just encourage you that whatever your interest is, just practice. Just practice. It's my big thing this week. You know, I'm sitting here every night when I would normally just be watching TV or working on a project or something like that. I'm just sketching, you know, because I have lessons to teach, and I have a lesson to film this week that I have to get done, and I'm late on it. And I have just felt the need to process a lot of feelings and thoughts this week. And I know the moment I sit down to actually get in and do that lesson will just be done. And I think that's one of the ways as artists that we process everything that we feel and think and do, and the way that we prioritize. And I think sometimes you just need to nourish and heal yourself through your art, and then you get back into your projects, and all the while understanding what your deadlines are, if you've got deadlines, like I do. So I've kind of been a little bit serious this week, hey? Like, there's always the confessions, but I've been a bit serious because it's kind of been a bit of a serious week. I know, right? It's like, yeah. So maybe more hilarity next week. Certainly I'll be on a high, because I would say by then I've actually gotten the design team box of goodies, so I will so much be on a high. So there will be lots of laughing and screaming and God knows what next week. All right, ciao for now. I've talked too long. See you next week. Remember, learn something new today. It keeps you young. Ciao for now.